negotiable. It's not. So if we can't even get the Constitution of the United States down, we're not going to be able to change anything, meaning, like GMOs in the food, chemtrails, all these so-called conspiracy theories. That's the message I got here, was we got to start with this before we can even touch anything else. And that's the message KrisAnne Hall was giving as well, is we need a revolution of the minds, and this is how we do it, through the Constitution of the United States.
Yeah, something outside yourself so that you don't have to depend on somebody's opinion. It's black and white facts in front of you, and a lot of times, people will say that you're a conspiracy theorist, and people have told me that since I've started taking an active participation in this, people will be like, "Boy, Robert, you were never a conspiracy theorist. What's all this stuff going on?" Well, it's because I found out it's not a theory. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, it's facts. Facts.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, these are facts.
Don't believe me. I'm not educated on how to analyze videos. I'm not educated on the procedures of FBI. So what you do is you look at the people who are, and you got to, of course, keep your defenses up so that you know when you're being lied to, when you're not. But pay attention to those people. Don't pay attention to me. Believe the people who are actually part of the system saying, "Hey, there's a guy shooting at the back door as they're burning down the compound in Waco." I mean, you got to be able to, like I tell my wife all the time, you got to be able to pick peanuts out of the shit.
Yeah.
You got to be able to listen to everybody.
Yep.
And you got to have something outside yourself. And personally, I believe that's God guiding me. But you got to have something outside yourself so that you're not to turn to, so that you're not deceived, because it is so easy to be deceived.
All right, guys, it's February 26th on Friday. We got cut out yesterday. I am actually back here with Robert, and we were talking a little bit yesterday about the situation, Robert. I know we kind of just, went on talking, and then I called you back today, and I was wanting to finish this up with you. What messages or anything do you want to give to anybody that's listening, Pete Santilli's audience or America?
Well, I would like to
Hey, Robert, your phone's cutting out a little.
Here, let me just...
there you go. I can hear you now.
Okay. They're continuing to expose up there. They're continuing to expose the government overreach in their court cases and stuff. This isn't something unique. This doesn't just happen to them. A lot of people think that they're just targeting them. No, they're targeting every American citizen. When you go into jail, they don't want to let you go because they get their funding that way, and they'll make up whatever charges they can to keep you there and treat you like crap. Throughout the nation, people are put in jail over things that they are accused of, even though they don't have the lawful reason to put them in jail. They still put them in jail, and sometimes people will actually spend more time in jail than they would if they were found guilty of it, because they don't want to submit and go ahead and take some plea bargain and admit that they were wrong when they weren't, so that they can get out of jail before they do all the time that they would have to do anyways. I know a guy that was in there for 6 months for DUI he wasn't guilty of, but they kept putting the court date out, because they can hold you for 6 months, and then at the 6 month mark, they went ahead and dropped the DUI. He lost his job, he lost his house, he lost his cars, he lost everything because he was in jail. And even at the end, the court found him not guilty. This happens to Americans every day, and I'm sad that they're in prison, but it also...
Well, you think this might be a part of the awakening, like maybe a positive thing, like we were talking earlier about. It seems like the courts, I think that's where the suffering comes in, is sometimes when we believe so true what's right, sometimes we have to sit in jail. But while we're sitting in jail, like we were talking earlier, a lot of things get brought up in court for people to actually hear.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that, even the strongest evidence for you, the judge who works for the government, gets to decide if you get to bring it into court or not. You could have a videotape of the incident, and the judge says, well, we already have a videotape, so that doesn't have any substance to it. So we're not going to allow it in there because it's just, it doesn't work. So we already have a videotape. We're going to go with our videotape, not yours. I mean, they can throw out evidence whenever they want. So
Well, that's like right now. Look at it's already been. It was Shauna Cox. Shauna Cox said she had a video recording in the vehicle. Why haven't we got to hear that?
well, because that may show the government doing something wrong. The video they did release lets us all squabble over the little details, snow on the car, and why didn't we see the gunshots, and
Right.
did he reach for a gun? That video leaves everything up to interpretation, and it divides people. If they just showed a video body cam, which if they didn't have their body cameras on, then they were, as far as I'm concerned, derelict in their duty. I mean, come on, you set up that lethal roadblock, but you didn't have your body cams on. The reason they don't want to release that is because they don't want the American public to know they're guilty yet.
Right. Well, now, you were saying about divide. That's where it seems like we're all at right now, and it's not something we need. There's a lot of people out there, like we talked earlier. There's a lot of people coming out with a lot of great ideas. Some are working, some are not working. What are some ideas? Because you were actually out there, and how many kids do you have?
9.
Okay.
I take care of 9. 6 of them are biological 9.
Okay, so that just shows a lot right there. So what's some advice that you might have for people that are on edge of maybe not going out somewhere, or that are scared to leave, or that are fearful to leave?
Well, if you want to find comfort, go. Because I mean, that was my first protest in Burns. I'd never been to a legitimate protest before. I mean, I've protested a few times just by myself, but see, it's not as effective as we would like to be because nobody's listening. But if we have the numbers, that's where it matters, and the government is trying to scare us. I mean, they're trying to say, if you protest, then we're going to arrest. If your protest works, we're going to arrest you. Stop being afraid of being arrested. I mean, can they store all of America in some kind of jail? I believe they could. With the FEMA camps and the Walmarts and all that stuff, they can put us all in jail. But who's going to make their guns for them? Who's going to, make the materials they need? And if nothing else, go out there to meet people, to see people, and have people of your same like mind. Protests, in my opinion, don't really affect the government that as much because they don't listen. But that's not necessarily the whole reason for the protest. The whole reason for the anymore, a lot of the reason for the protest is to meet people of like-minded and to get all your ideas together.
Yeah.
I'll go into a little story here real quick. In my town, there's an underpass that goes underneath the trains. Okay, and you drive underneath the trains. A trucker was too tall, and he went to go underneath that underpass, and he slammed into the underpass and was pinned underneath there, like he got half of his trailer underneath there or something. And the city officials came in, they shut down the road. City officials came in, state officials came in. They started moving cranes towards that area, started working with Union Pacific to move all the trains off there because they were thinking they're going to have to redo the bridge, pull the bridge up, and to get the truck out. And some little kid, I want to say he was like 8 years old or something, walked up to one of the guys that were standing there, analyzed it, and he goes, "Hey, why don't we just take the air out of the tires?" And they're like, "What? Yeah, let's try that." And they took the air out of the tires and was able to pull the truck out and had it out in a couple hours. So you don't have to be super intelligent necessarily to contribute. You don't have to be completely aware of every little thing that's going on. Sometimes it's better for someone who doesn't know what's going on 100% to submit ideas that people who are wrapped up in it don't understand. I mean, it didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that you let the tires out and it's going to bring down the truck a good, 3 or 4 inches. Those are big tires. But it took some kid telling them that. All these experts, it took a kid telling them that. So how that applies with this is that the government's all powerful and they think that they know everything. But sometimes just that little voice saying, hey, why don't we just let the air out of the tires?
Wow.
That can mean the world. That can change.
No, that, yeah,
it's going to cost millions to get that truck out.
Yeah, no, that's you're right, and that's what I got out there too. Is just like you mentioned it yesterday. You know, there's some things that you know that I don't know, and vice versa. Like you brought up something good, that if you're out and about and talking to somebody and someone's trying to debate you on something about what chemicals are in geoengineering, and then you got someone like me or Ben Time Traveler or these other guys that might, know the statistics of chemicals, that we can sit there and, fight back, I guess, with that.
Yeah, well, and the main thing is that we're all in this together. I mean,
right.
Everybody, even the FBI guys, they're in it with us too. We need to help wake them up too, because everybody wants to hate the FBI, and I understand. I got some animosity towards just about all law enforcement, but they are Americans too, and we need to teach them the same thing that we're teaching the guy on the ground.
Yeah, that's what Mike Emery was saying too in that video with Lisa. He actually brought that up with these FBI agents. That they believe it or not, all this is going to affect their kids as well, because they have kids. People in the FBI, they have families and things like that. We're actually getting close to time here. I just wanted to wrap this up and just tell you thank you for doing this. I know Shuff had recommended you here, and this is I'm still supporting Pete Santilli and Deb Jordan. So people, please help donate to the Pete Santilli Show .com/donate. And that's really to help Pete and Deb out. Is there anything that you wanted to say? We got about 2 minutes until this actually cuts out my recording here.
Well, I just want to say thanks. Appreciate you letting my voice be heard more. And, basically we're all into this together, guys, including the FBI and stuff. You got to remember, as an organization, they are bad. But as individual people, they're just individual people. And if we can reach those individual people too, that's what we need to do to save this country. Is we do need government, but we need correct government. So if we can reach those guys, that's better than reaching me, because I don't have any power and I'm just a guy, just doing my thing.
Well, and that's what we all need to do. All right, Robert. Well, I appreciate it. Here, stay on here just for a second. All right, guys, I'll keep in touch with you, and we'll have some more interviews coming. Thanks a lot.